Hi, it's Kyleigh again, and this is my Module 3 response to Web 2.0. The education podcast that I listened to was from TED Talks. It's called Embrace the Shake. I chose this podcast because not only was it related to my major of art education, but after I listened to it, I thought it would be a great podcast to show students from junior high and up to help them understand that when you experience a setback, you can quit or you can adapt. This TED Talk was given by artist Phil Hansen, who created art using small dots called pointillism to make a bigger composition such as a person's face. He began art school and then developed a bad shake in his hand that had developed from many years of creating the small dots with his art. When he tried to compensate and tried to control the shake, it made it worse. Thus, he dropped out of art school and left the art completely behind. A couple years later, he decided he wanted to go back to art. So he went to a neurologist, and the doctor said he had permanent nerve damage. The neurologist looked at him and said, well, why don't you embrace the shake? So he did. Once he embraced the shake, he realized that he could still make the art that he wanted. It was just in a different way than he had originally wanted. He discovered that embracing limitation could drive creativity. His art became pushing what limits art had been, and in turn creating art that could be destroyed in a series called Goodbye Art. One of the examples was where he stacked 7,000 matches to create an image of Jimi Hendrix's face playing the guitar, only to then light all the matches on fire, thus destroying the artwork. Or he also would do a drawing of an amazing composition in sidewalk chalk, only for it to wash away and disappear. His talk was centered around not giving up, just embracing your limitations to unleash unlimited creativity by giving up the anxieties of failure and perfection. I loved his talk. If you guys get a moment, you should definitely go and watch it. Some of the ways Web 2.0 technologies can be used in the classroom are listening to podcasts, such as the TED Talks, for students to see people from the real world talk about their experiences and become inspired. Blogging could be useful on a classroom website where teachers could write about what is happening in the classroom and allow students to show the projects they're working on. I think that social networking applications should be used in the K-12 environment if it is properly managed by teachers. I don't think that students should have independent access to social networking sites while they're in school or in the school classroom per se. A teacher could use Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, again, to show what is being learned in the classroom by creating an account managed by the teacher only. This way, students can see another way to use the sites, and it can also be an opportunity to have conversations about how to properly use the site and what to be aware of as far as appropriate content. Also, the issue of authenticity can be addressed with things such as the Momo that went viral last semester, what is real and what is fake. Students are going to be exposed to this type of content at some point in their lives. We as educators must try to help protect them and others if the opportunity arises. The ways the internet has driven change in our culture and throughout education is profound. It has completely changed how we interact with the world, those around us, and how we have access to vast amounts of information through the touch of our fingertips. After watching Professor Wesch's presentation and anthropological introduction to YouTube, I honestly didn't know that colleges were exploring the impact of new media on human interaction. I had no idea there was such a thing as digital ethnography for a research team, let alone one well-known and close to us in Kansas at K-State. In Professor Wesch's presentation, he goes in depth about how YouTube is not just a technology. Wesch states that it's a social space built around video communication that is searchable, taggable, and mashable. It is a space where identities, values, and ideas are produced, reproduced, challenged, and negotiated in new ways. Other than YouTube, such as Flickr, Twitter, etc., new types of conversation, argumentation, and collaborations are realized. After watching the presentation, I know that technology has advanced and new platforms have surfaced, but I wonder how much YouTube specifically has changed. I personally think that YouTube has developed into different genres since the presentation was given. There are areas that people have been doing, such as walkthroughs of video games while giving commentary. There are ASMR videos of people eating, which drives me up the wall, and opening packages without speaking. There's pimple popping videos, makeup tutorials, bloggers that have channels that they post religiously every week to their subscribers. There is, of course, mashups and meme-created material as well. I thought one of the main and important points of Professor Wesch's presentation was that media is mediating human relations through technology. We are constantly having to rethink things. His video that shows how written text was translated into hypertext showed just that. For educators, it is very important for us to try to keep in the loop of developing media and platforms to see if we can utilize these tools in the learning environment. What has been put into place may have worked for that time, but it is always good practice to browse the web, attend workshops, and network to see how you can constantly be improving as an educator. I really connected with the part of the lecture when the students were talking about using a webcam. Many of them stated that they feel like they are talking to themselves, not to people actually watching them or you having a conversation with them. Yet, you are aware that numerous amounts of people will and can watch your video at any point in time. It's a completely different type of interaction. Wesch states it's odd because it's as if everybody is watching where nobody is. Another interesting point in the lecture that was through a webcam and on YouTube, you can connect or have a connection without constraint through watching videos. You don't have the pressure to form deep conversations and a connection with the person. You don't have to worry about how you look, maintaining eye contact, things like that. You can observe them however you want. I personally feel very exposed, and I'm not yet comfortable when I talk into a webcam. It's like performance anxiety for me. Even if I was casually talking about something I was very knowledgeable about and comfortable with, I would still analyze and critique myself. I would re-record repeatedly. And for the bookmarking tool that we were asked to pick, I picked one called Pocket. I've never actually used a bookmarking tool or app in the form of something like Pocket. I've always just saved a bookmark in the bookmark folder on my internet browser to go back to when I have the time. On Pocket, you just add a link and then you can organize it by type. I really like that Pocket keeps all your information as a list that you can access whenever you'd like, even offline. It stores all of your files and it turns into your own personal library that you can access anytime you'd like. And it's also free. It also has a listen feature that can read your saved articles to you. It's so cool. I love how customizable it is and how user-friendly it is. Well, I think that pretty much covers it. See you all next week.